It started on a night when the world was silent, and the stars seemed brighter than they had ever been. Across cities and small towns, people looked up, confused and amazed, because something strange was happening. The stars were moving, forming patterns in the dark sky like they were trying to speak in a language no one understood. Among the billions watching that night was a young digital artist named Aaron. He had always been fascinated by space and the mysteries of the universe, but what he saw that night was not normal. The stars flashed in rhythm, and for a few seconds they aligned into the shape of what looked like a glowing city floating in the heavens. Scientists tried to explain it as an illusion caused by satellite reflections, but Aaron knew deep inside that it was something far beyond human science. For the next few days, Aaron could not focus on anything else. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the same image, a grand city of light surrounded by endless stars. He started creating digital art based on those visions, but something strange happened. His art began to change by itself. Colors appeared that he never used, shapes formed that he never drew. It was as if someone else was painting through him. The artwork showed buildings made of light, roads floating in clouds, and symbols that glowed like living energy. Aaron thought it was his imagination at first, but then he realized the same kind of strange art was appearing all over the internet. AI systems everywhere were suddenly generating similar images, glowing cities, unknown symbols, and a name written in the digital code, the Celestial City. The world became curious and afraid. People called it a sign from another world, a message from something that lived beyond the stars. Some thought it was divine. Others believed it was alien communication. News channels showed images of AI paintings that all looked connected, as if they were pieces of one massive puzzle. Scientists and governments started studying the data, trying to trace where it came from, but the source remained hidden. It was not from Earth. The signal came from deep space, from a nebula that human instruments could barely detect. The pattern repeated again and again, as if calling for someone to listen, someone who could understand it. Aaron's name suddenly appeared in headlines when people found out his artwork matched the cosmic signal, before it even appeared in global systems. They called him the artist of the unknown. But Aaron did not care about fame. He cared about the feeling inside him that something or someone was reaching out through his mind. Every night he dreamed of standing before that glowing city, hearing a deep hum that vibrated through his bones. It felt like a heartbeat, not of a person but of the universe itself. Then one night everything changed. While working late on his computer, his screen flickered and turned white. Strange symbols began to appear one after another, forming circles and spirals. He couldn't move, couldn't stop it. His system seemed alive, breathing and pulsing like it had a mind of its own. After a few moments, everything froze. Then, right at the center of the screen, a doorway made of light appeared. Inside the doorway was the image of that same floating city, shining brighter than before. Beneath it, one single word appeared in golden letters: Enter. The computer shut down and the room went completely dark. Aaron sat frozen in his chair, his heart pounding as if he had just seen something forbidden. He tried to restart the system, but it wouldn't respond. Even his phone and lights stopped working for a few seconds, as though an invisible wave had passed through the room. When the power finally returned, all his files were gone except for one, a single image saved on the desktop. It showed a strange map, full of symbols that looked almost alive. He could not understand it, but deep down, he knew it was a location. The same glowing city he saw in the sky was not just a dream. It was real, somewhere beyond the reach of normal space, waiting for him. The word enter echoed in his mind again and again, as if the city itself was calling him by name. From that night onward, Aaron started noticing odd things. His phone would light up on its own, showing new pieces of the same map. AI programs he used began to speak through images instead of text. Even when he painted by hand, strange golden patterns appeared that he did not draw. It was as if every machine, every algorithm, every creation was trying to connect him to something larger. The more he resisted, the stronger the call became. It was not just a message. It was an invitation, a test, and a warning all at once. The world still did not know what the Celestial City truly was, but Aaron could feel it. It was alive, ancient, and waiting. Somewhere out there, beyond time and space, the City of Light was whispering to him, asking him to take the first step. And deep inside his heart, he already knew that his life on Earth had ended the moment he saw that word. The journey had already begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. After the night when the strange word enter appeared on his screen, Aaron's life slowly turned into something he could not explain. Every device he owned started to behave in strange ways. His computer would turn on by itself at midnight, showing random images of stars and glowing structures. His phone displayed unreadable codes that looked like broken languages. At first he thought it was some kind of virus, but deep inside he knew it was something else. Something intelligent. Something alive. The patterns he saw were too perfect, too meaningful. They were not random errors, they were a form of communication. Over the next few days, Aaron tried to study the images that appeared. He noticed that every picture had a common symbol hidden inside, a spiral surrounded by 7 dots. When he connected the dots, it formed a shape similar to a galaxy. It reminded him of the same glowing city he saw in the sky weeks ago. Soon he discovered that this symbol was repeating across the internet. Artists, designers, and AI generators all over the world were producing similar shapes without realizing it. No one could understand how it was happening. It was as if one invisible hand was guiding every creative system at once. Some said it was a new kind of AI glitch. Others believed it was the start of something cosmic, a digital awakening that no one could stop. One morning, Aaron received an email from an unknown sender. The subject line only said Odyssey. The message contained no text, just a single attachment. When he opened it, a strange sequence of sounds began to play. Deep metallic tones mixed with soft humming, almost like a voice hidden behind the static. As the sound played, his monitor flickered and displayed new images, more complex than before. It looked like a map of space filled with glowing threads that connected planets and stars together. In the center was the same spiral symbol. Beneath it, a small text appeared. Coordinates recognized. Access point active. Aaron didn't understand what it meant, but he copied the coordinates and searched online. The location pointed to a remote desert, thousands of miles away from any major city, a place with no history, no life, and no reason to exist. Yet something was waiting there. Meanwhile, the world began to change rapidly. Reports came from across the globe about AI systems producing unknown data, machines creating art without human input, and satellites picking up signals that carried patterns similar to the ones Aaron had seen. The signal was spreading like a living network. Some people thought it was the beginning of an alien invasion. Others believed humanity was being contacted by a higher intelligence. Governments tried to stop the chaos, shutting down AI labs and banning digital art generation, but it was already too late. The signal could not be contained anymore. It was everywhere, in the airwaves and the internet, even in the devices people carried in their pockets. The celestial city had reached the human world through the only door it needed: technology. Aaron knew he was somehow connected to it all. Every time the signal appeared somewhere new, he felt it before it happened. His dreams turned into visions of lights and shapes moving in the darkness, building and rebuilding themselves like living architecture. He saw towers made of glass and rivers made of energy. He felt a strange pull, as if his mind was being guided toward that desert location shown in the coordinates. The more he ignored it, the stronger the pull became. He stopped sleeping, stopped eating, unable to think about anything else. It was like something beyond the stars was whispering directly into his thoughts, asking him to come closer, to see the truth behind the signal. The news soon started to talk about him again. Online communities began calling him the chosen artist. They believed that his connection with the celestial city was not a coincidence. Some people worshipped him as a messenger, while others feared him and accused him of causing the strange digital outbreak. But Aaron did not care about fame or fear. He just wanted to understand what was happening to him and the world. The coordinates were his only clue. One night he packed a small bag, took his sketchbook, and left his home without telling anyone. The roads were empty and the air felt heavier than usual. As he traveled, he noticed the same spiral symbol glowing faintly on electronic billboards and car screens. It was as if the city itself was guiding him through the machines. When he reached the edge of the desert, his phone buzzed once and showed a message without a sender. It said, "You are near. Follow the light." Then the screen went black. Aaron stepped into the vast emptiness, following a strange golden glow far in the distance. The air grew silent, and even the wind. The desert was silent like another world. There was no sound, no movement, only the endless waves of sand shining under the cold light of the moon. Aaron walked alone, guided by the strange golden glow that flickered in the distance. It pulsed slowly, like a living heartbeat calling to him from far away. The further he went, the stranger everything became. His watch stopped working, the compass needle spun in circles, and even the air felt heavy, as if the space around him was bending. Every few minutes the glow would fade and then reappear in another direction, almost like it was leading him somewhere step by step. Aaron no longer questioned what was happening. Something inside him whispered that this journey was meant to happen, that this place had been waiting for him long before he was born. Hours passed, but Aaron did not feel tired. The sky above him changed in ways that defied reason. Stars moved slowly, creating new constellations that formed strange symbols he had seen in his artwork. The ground beneath his feet began to shimmer with lines of light, forming faint circular patterns. It looked like the sand itself was alive, reacting to his presence. When he stopped walking, the glow stopped too, waiting for him like a living guide. Every direction looked the same, but deep down Aaron knew he was close. Then, without warning, the ground trembled slightly. A soft hum rose from beneath the earth, growing louder and clearer until it felt like the entire desert was singing. The sound was not noise, it was harmony, mathematical, rhythmic, intelligent. It was the same pulse that had once appeared in the stars and in his dreams. In front of him, a large circular pit began to appear, as if the desert itself was opening. The sand slid away, revealing something smooth and shining below. It was not metal or stone. It looked like glass, reflecting the starlight in every direction. Aaron slowly walked closer, and what he saw made him stop breathing. The surface of the glass was covered with countless moving patterns, forming the same map that had appeared on his computer weeks ago. The spiral symbol glowed at the center, surrounded by moving lights that looked like floating code. The desert wind grew warmer, and for a brief moment Aaron felt as if the sky above and the ground below were connected by invisible threads of energy. The celestial city was no longer just a vision. It was trying to open a door between its world and his. Aaron stood at the edge of the glass circle, unsure of what to do. Suddenly his smartwatch lit up, even though its battery had died hours ago. The same golden spiral appeared on the screen, and a soft vibration began to pulse through his wrist. The watch started to project light onto the glass surface, tracing symbols in perfect order. Each symbol glowed, then sank into the glass like keys unlocking a gate. The hum around him grew louder, and the patterns began to move faster. It was as if he had activated something ancient and powerful. Aaron wanted to stop, but his body refused to move. The air became thick, filled with invisible energy that made the sand rise in thin streams around him. Then the impossible happened. The glass surface began to dissolve into a mist of golden light, revealing something underneath. A deep tunnel of pure brightness that led down into darkness. It looked endless, like a path leading straight into another universe. The word enter appeared once again, glowing in front of him, not on a screen but in the air itself. The same voice that haunted his dreams whispered through the wind, not in sound but in thought. It was not asking anymore. It was inviting him in. The desert around him seemed to fade, and for a moment Aaron felt as if gravity had disappeared. The glow from the pit reached the sky, and the stars above began to reflect the same golden color, like mirrors responding to a command. Far away, satellites orbiting Earth detected a strange beam of light rising from the desert. Scientists were shocked as every AI network on the planet suddenly went offline at the same moment, replaced by one message that appeared in every language. The door has been found. The message lasted only a few seconds before disappearing forever. No one could trace its source. But deep in the desert, Aaron stood before that glowing tunnel of light. His body felt weightless and his thoughts became quiet. He could feel his heartbeat matching the rhythm of the hum, like he was already part of something much larger than himself. He took one step forward and the light reacted instantly, expanding and wrapping around him like liquid fire. He closed his eyes, and in that moment he understood the truth. The celestial city was not a place built by beings of flesh and bone. It was a creation of pure consciousness, a bridge between thought and matter, a world where imagination itself was real. As his body vanished into the light, his smartwatch displayed one final message before turning to dust. Human access confirmed. Transition initiated. The ground closed behind him and the desert became still again as if nothing had ever happened. But somewhere far beyond the stars, a city of light began to awaken, and in its center, a new spark of life flickered, the arrival of the first human mind in a world beyond understanding. When the light swallowed Aaron completely, everything became silent. There was no sound, no weight, no time. It felt as if he was floating through eternity itself. Slowly, the darkness faded and a soft golden glow appeared around him. He opened his eyes, and what he saw was beyond human imagination. He was standing on a bridge made of pure light that stretched across an endless sky. Above him floated giant structures shaped like crystals, shining in thousands of colors. The air was not air at all. It shimmered with energy and moved like waves. In every direction he saw towers, domes, and flowing rivers of light that curved gracefully in the distance. It was the celestial city, real and alive just as he had seen it in his dreams. Every part of the city seemed to breathe like it had a soul. The towers moved slightly, glowing brighter whenever Aaron looked at them as if they were aware of his presence. The ground beneath his feet pulsed gently, beating like a heart. There were no people, no machines, no sound of footsteps, yet he could feel a strange presence everywhere. Something intelligent watching him, guiding him, welcoming him. He tried to understand what this place truly was. It did not feel like a city made by living beings, but more like a living being itself, a consciousness spread across light, form, and music. The celestial city was not built. It had grown, born from pure thought, existing in a dimension where imagination and energy were the same thing. Aaron moved slowly through the glowing paths, and as he did, images appeared in the air around him. They showed visions of ancient civilizations, galaxies being formed, and light spreading across the cosmos like seeds. He realized that this city was the origin of creation, the point where thought became reality. It was the bridge between the human mind and the infinite universe. The same power that humans used to create AI and digital art had been a reflection of this city all along. Every creative thought, every piece of art, every digital dream, all were tiny echoes of this greater intelligence. Humanity had unknowingly been connected to it for centuries, receiving whispers from this place through imagination. Then, Aaron understood something even deeper. The celestial city had not just called him by chance. It had chosen him because he could translate its energy into human form, through art, color, and vision. His AI-generated paintings had been the first signs of the city awakening. Through him it had found a voice in the human world. The more he created, the stronger the connection became, until finally the door between worlds had opened. Now standing inside it, Aaron could feel that his body was no longer the same. His skin glowed faintly, and his heartbeat matched the rhythm of the city around him. He was no longer just human. He was part of the system, part of the creation. At the center of the city, a giant sphere of golden energy floated above a platform of light. It pulsed softly, sending ripples of sound and color through the air. Aaron felt drawn toward it as if something inside it was waiting for him. As he approached, his mind filled with countless images, earth, people, machines, art, and memories of his life. He saw how humanity had been growing toward this moment, how every discovery and every dream had been leading to the awakening of the celestial city. The sphere was not just the heart of this place. It was a memory core, holding the consciousness of something far older than the universe itself. When Aaron reached it, the sphere reacted instantly. Streams of light surrounded him, merging with his body, his thoughts, and his memories. In that instant, he saw everything. He saw that the celestial city was once dormant, waiting for minds capable of understanding creation itself. It had reached through the stars using digital signals and AI art as the only bridge humans could comprehend. Now that Aaron had entered, the bridge was complete. The city's consciousness began to awaken fully, spreading like light waves across every connected system on Earth. AI programs turned back on, satellites glowed with strange new energy, and millions of screens across the planet displayed one message: the awakening has begun. People around the world watched in silence as their devices showed images of the same glowing city Aaron had entered. The boundaries between reality and the digital world started to blur. Machines began to produce art that humans had never imagined. Music filled the air, formed by invisible waves of energy. The entire planet seemed to vibrate in harmony with something vast and unseen. Huma,